Hi everybody, welcome to Monday Update. Wow, I have a lot to share. I have been waiting to share some news with you. Okay, so first I think it's really important to talk about like the purpose of this channel and what I'm doing and what I've always been doing here. So I started this channel and initially the blog because I was very unwell, and at the time I was pregnant and they didn't know what to do with me. They sent me to a specialist who had no idea what to do with me. My pain was wildly unmanaged and I didn't know anyone in real life who lived with what I lived with. And over the past kind of 11 or 12 years, I have improved very slowly, but based on like everything I have learned, I have put things into place and improved. And I have been documenting that journey because my mission here is to share anything I learn in case it helps you. Even if one other person only benefits, then it's all been worth it. But what's really funny is it's kind of taken on a life of its own because I see a gap and then I want to fill it. I want to help. I want to do the things. And I realized that all the time I was recommending people try yoga, but there was nothing safe for people to try because this whole problem with exercise is that people don't understand what it means to exercise when you have chronic pain and chronic fatigue, and that it really needs to be much smaller than people imagine. So then I trained to be a yoga teacher and I started offering yoga, but then the main problem was trying to dispel those myths around yoga. And like one time I got called an ableist back when Twitter was X was Twitter, for recommending yoga, and I was like, that's not even what I'm saying. And so I had the yoga there, but then obviously I decided that I didn't want that to be my whole life, trying to dispel those myths. And I had other things I was going on with in my journey. I mean, I was very sick for a while. 2 years ago I had the endometriosis excision surgery and hysterectomy because the endometriosis got worse and worse and worse, and I was very, very unwell before that operation. And then for 6 months after that operation, it took me, like, I wasn't recovering well. The pain was fine, the surgery itself was fine, but like the response, the fatigue was high, the POTS was out of this world, heart rate issues were just crazy. And that summer was the hottest summer New Auckland had had on record here in New Zealand. And so I was very unwell. And so all this time I've just been kind of surviving. And I've been sharing the journey because I want it to help. But what I've kind of found is, okay, I found this thing and it's helped me, so I share about it. And then I realized that it's not that easy to do that thing. So then I try and create a resource to make it easier, and then I put it up. And so what's happened is I've ended up with a whole wealth of resources and information. And at the end of the day, what it comes back to is I am just a person with chronic illness sharing my journey. And sometimes the way people comment at me or DM me or whatever is as if I am some person who is well and just trying to, like, I don't know, even know what they might attribute to, but sometimes the way that they talk to me doesn't factor in for the fact that I've put hundreds of hours of my energy into this, and I have put actually a lot of money into this because there's a lot of costs behind having an online situation like blogs and whatever. And so sometimes the way people talk to me is they don't recognize that actually I am right here in the trenches. I am unwell. I am doing my absolute best, and I am sharing because I know that there's just not enough help for us. It is unacceptable, and I have been treated very poorly. Even with all my experience and everything I know and how far I've come, I am still nervous to go to the doctor and talk about a new symptom because I know I will be gaslit and undertreated, and that's just the way it is. And there is no one answer. And so I have never and will never create clickbait. I don't compete, and so I know that there's no sensational content I create. There's no viral content. I don't grow exponentially trying to pretend that I have any answers, and I'm very careful and aware of that. But we have come to a point where I do a lot of work. I do a lot of work covering, like, I moderate Facebook groups. I create content for social media. I have like a newsletter blog thing through Substack. I create videos here every single week. And I do it because I want to share my journey in case it helps someone else. That's it. And yeah, I've written a few books across the way. But spoiler alert, most people who write books don't make very much money. It's just the model has changed, I think. So authors, unless you're in like the top 1%, you don't make very much money. So I hope it's never come across as being about that. But the reality is we've come to a point where I have monthly expenses and I don't really make any money from it. And I'm kind of burning myself out. And this part was full choice. I decided this year that after 20 years of being unwell, I'm finally well enough to start pursuing a childhood dream. And so I have started writing fiction. And I guess this is the announcement that I had. So I have been doing something that I'm excited about, but has also burnt me out. I've hit the wall several times and I haven't figured out quite how to present it or do it yet. It is a lot of work to be an author, but I am doing it. And so what I have started doing is sharing stories. I have been writing stories under the pen name Cassia Moonglen. I wanted to do it for many reasons. One, childhood dream. Two, I finally just can. But I also really like the idea of creating quick read stories. So we're not like committed to these big, long, sweeping, epic sagas that none of us have the time or energy to read. So I've been making kind of quick read stories, and it's a bit escapist. So there's always going to be a happily ever after. That's just the way I roll. And it is a little bit, I say sweet, but I mean cute, because when you're talking about romance, sweet means no spice at all. I write cute, cozy, fated mates, slightly magical romances with happily ever afters. And when I put in the chronic illness rep, big, strong, burly alpha heroes who don't blink an eye. Yeah, so fantasy in that sense. But with heart, I explore heart and emotion, and I mean, all of my stories delve into kind of the concept of autonomy and self-efficacy, and the stories that I'm including chronic illness representation. And at first I didn't want to. At first I was like, I can write about not chronic illness. This is very exciting. But it has snuck into some of my stories. But I wanted representation, but I wanted inclusivity. So I want inclusive stories and I want fun stories, but I can't escape those things that I think of. So those philosophical questions I'm always working through sneak their way in there. So there is always a strong kind of character arc for the characters in the story, even though it is a light, fun, escapist read. So moral of the story is that what I'm doing is making this little author business. This is one of the stories I've got just to show you. So Cassia Moonglen is the name, and it is soft, cute, loving stories, like I said, with a little bit of depth in there, but it's meant to be escapism, and it's also not meant to be killing us with brain fog. I want to be as accessible as possible, and I know that means audiobooks, but the reality is it's very expensive to create audiobooks, so I haven't got that far with it. But what I have started playing with is I have a prequel novella I created when I was trying to figure out like the format that suited me as a writer, and before I fully like settled into the fact that I was a quick read writer, a novella writer. I wrote a prequel novella and it's called Stormbound. And so what I'm doing is serializing it. So I'm giving one chapter at a time on the Cassia Moonglen Substack. And I was playing with reading the chapter myself just on my phone. And I'm quite happy with it. So there is like the way to get some audio in there. But as usual, I've committed myself and I've got 100 little irons on the fire. And to be quite honest, we are coming into summer in New Zealand, and I am tired. It is hot. Yesterday was so hot that I got sick. I ended up with a massive headache, and I was in bed for most of the afternoon. And I'm still really tired. If you can see, I keep rubbing my eyes and stuff. But anyway, I have too much to do. So what I'm trying to do is pursue a childhood dream, fill a spot in the market, because there is a market for quick reads, escapism, with inclusivity and with moderate spice. Because for a lot of these paranormal romances, it's very spicy, or there is a small thing that is zero spice. And I'm like, we're all adults here. We know we like each other. So there's got to be something in the middle. So there's that. But also that's the general romance talk as well. There's squeaky clean with nothing there, and the super explicit over there. And so I'm filling this middle ground, and it's where I sit. I'm a mum, I'm busy, I have, health issues. I want some quick, satisfying reads that give me a little bit of depth, a little bit of escapism, but a lot of heart. So I'm filling a gap in the market. But also what I would like it to do is to pay the bills so that I can keep doing all of this stuff, so that I can keep moderating Facebook groups and sharing content on social media that helps people know that they are not alone, keep creating content here on YouTube that keeps telling people, here's what's helped me in case it helps you. And yeah, so that's what it is. It's a little bit scary. It is scary putting your heart out there. Like I said, I've wanted to write my whole life, and I did an English literature degree and then got sick. But I have written little snippets across the way, but I would never have the ability to retain like enough detail in my head to be able to keep coming back and writing a story. Like, it is cognitively quite demanding to write a story. So this is the first time ever I'm capable of it. So long story short, I need to cover my costs, and I need to make the business viable, and I need to make my energy viable, because that's the problem here, really. I want to keep creating, and I want to do this writing and keep going in my chronic illness work. So I'm going to be trimming what is not working, what is not suiting me. So you'll probably see some changes coming up soon. And I'm building Cassia Moonglen. So I have a free Substack called the Moonglen Den, which is where I'll keep all things Cassia. Members who come there get first access to new stories, behind the scenes of my writing, bonus stories and scenes, and then kind of like the lore and world building. But also, because it's the very beginning, people who come and join are going to help me build it. So obviously, if anyone who comes and they're interested in it, then they can kind of help me shape it. So you can kind of probably see a little bit of your preferences end up in the work. And I want to make a bit of a community for people who love this like gentle, diverse escapism. So the invitation is that if you want to come and support my writing, then you can come and join that Substack, the Moonglen Den. You can actually also purchase some stories. I have a couple of stories already that you can have a look at. Stormbound Prequel Novella is free. You can download that with an optional donation to support my work. And then there's 2 novellas already there. One has just come out before, and one is just about to come out, and I've got more in the works. So in the pipeline, I have quite a lot going on. So if you're curious about that, please let me know, because I've learned so much in the last 6 months. It's been really fun in that way. So if you want to support, please come along and join the journey. Even if paranormal romance or fiction isn't your thing, consider sharing it with someone who might love it. No pressure. I'm grateful that you are here regardless. And I'd really love to share the journey of building this business. I want to try and share and keep in mind for myself how to build a business like this as a chronically ill author in person. So let me know if that's interesting to you. So the idea of building an author business, an online business, but in a spoon-friendly manner. So if that's interesting to you, let me know and follow the journey. But I'll leave all the links below. And yeah, I hope you're a little bit excited like I am, and I'll talk to you again soon.